Yeah, hello, Senna.
Yeah, hello.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Senna. Uh, please, you can start. Yeah. Hello, please, Senna. You can start. Yeah.
Okay, so hello everyone. I hope you are all doing well. And you are all welcome to today's session of the AI workshop series. Today we'll be looking at how to master prompt engineering with relation to artificial intelligence.
Please, can
And
everyone hear
Japheth
me
will be
and see
taking
my
us
screen?
through. And Japheth will be taking us through today's session. Japheth, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, let's start. Engineering, and please, if anyone can hear me, I can be heard or I can be seen. Please let me know. before we'll summarize everything, and then we'll bring the session to an end. Okay, so what's prompts are just inputs that we use to guide the AI models, right? Like ChatGPT, deep learning, sorry, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Mid Journey, and like every other large language model, or effective inputs, right? Effective prompts, so that the model will also return useful or accurate responses to us, right? So that's prompt engineering. And it matters because it's what you get back. I hope you understand. Like the model will respond to what you give it. So if you give it a better prompt, it will also give you what better results. If you okay, okay. I hope everyone can see now. If you give it a better result, you see, so we have a saying that that's like every phase of life, and prompting is no exception. Yeah, so the amount of in the prompts, that's how much to respond. Yes, so basically that's what prompt engineering is about. Just writing effective prompts to guide the AI model to also give you back, because let's start from the bottom. Because you are prompting about, let's say, photosynthesis, and then you don't specify that. Let's say you want the chemical formulas related to photosynthesis. You don't specify that, and then you just say photosynthesis. It will give you a description and everything of photosynthesis, and even leave the formula out because it didn't what specify. And then you need to like re-prompt it and specify again that, oh no, I wanted the chemical formulas related to photosynthesis. So by the time you do that, it has wasted time, and it has wasted token. Token is just like the number of times you will be generating the prompts, right? Sometimes it's limited, especially if you are working with like PDF files on ChatGPT. You see, if you are not a premium user, you work on tokens, you use the token. So if your token is up, then you need to wait for some time for it to be like regenerated before you can start again. This is sometimes ChatGPT will tell you that like try again in this time, or yes. So it means your token is finished. Yes. And so to reduce one topic and to also save time, you need to what prompts better. You need to do what was given. If you specify photosynthesis, it will go ahead and give you that, right? Instead of like generating a summary of what photosynthesis is before coming to the formulas. Yes. So like doing a good prompt engineering, it improves your prompt clarity, right? It ensures that what you are telling the AI is not ambiguous, like it's not vague, right? Yes, it will be easily understood by the language model, right? Yes, and also what it optimizes, prompt engineering optimizes, right? What you feed it is what it will also what spit out to you. So these are some importance of prompt engineering. The most important one is that it's saves time. And so we, we have a lot, but we focus on four. So we have what the zero shots, the one shots, the and then chain of thought. Oh, sorry, the chain of thought prompting. So we'll get there. Let's start with the zero shot prompting. You just give give it a command. You just give the AI model a command. Let's say translate to French. So I give an example there. Translate hello to French or translate to French hello. You didn't give it any prior example, so it doesn't know what you're talking about. But in this case, I mean, the example is easy. So if I say translate to French hello, it will tell me what hello is, maybe bonjour or salut or something. It will just spit out the answer for me, right? But then if I say if I give it an example, right, like the other types of prompting, it will tailor its response, right, to the example I give it, right. Yeah, so that brings us to like one shot prompting. That one is giving us what one example, recognize the pattern, right. It will recognize the pattern within my example and then tailor its response to it. So here the example I used was that hi, and I used a dash and arrow salute. And I said now translate back. The answer or the output that it will give me will match the input example that I used. Yes. So that's for the one shot. So the zero shot, no example is used. It just goes straight to the point. It depends on the topic you are tackling. Yes. Depends on the topic you are tackling. Sometimes you need to give an that you need to be effective whilst prompting. So the next type is few shot. So for few shot, two or more examples. So we have zero examples, one example, two or more examples. So let's say I'm solving a math question, and we know that for maths, everyone has a method he or she uses to solve a particular type of question. Let's say I'm solving a differentiation question. One question I can use chain rule. The same question I can use a product rule. The same question I can use, let's say a quotient. I can modify it and use a quotient rule. You see, so it's one question, but I have three different ways of solving it. And I want ChatGPT to solve a question for me. If I just use the zero shot prompting, I say solve this, it can pick out any method and solve it for me, right? But I won't be satisfied because maybe I wanted it to use the chain rule method to solve it. So it means I need to feed it with what examples of what questions using chain rule, right? So maybe I'll give it one question using the chain rule. I'll give it another question using the chain rule so that it will see how best to solve it for me to my satisfaction, right? Maybe I can also give the same question using what quotient rule and what chain rule. So it means I'm providing two solutions to one problem, and then I'll give it another example again. So if it generates its response, it will do the same. See, it will tailor its response towards how I want it, right? So that's all what the prompt engineering is about, right? Tailoring your letting the AI know what you want so that it will tailor its response to your question. So the last one is, oh sorry, this place is supposed to be four. So the last one is the chain of thoughts. So another way you can prompt is what with any AI model that's it should break it into steps for you, right? For you to follow whatever topic you are interested in, right? Here, the example is what photosynthesis. So the example was explain briefly, sorry, the cycle of photosynthesis. It will explain, but maybe not to your satisfaction. So you can add what in a step-by-step approach. That way, it will break it down into steps, right? You see the chain of thought behind the photosynthesis problem, right? Another way you can also say is taking note of what happens each step is the same thing, just different ways of writing it. You will take note of what happens what in each step. So that's the chain of thought. So we've looked at zero shots where you don't have to give any example. One shot where you give what only one example. Two or a few shots where you give two or more examples. Establish patterns, right? I want differences between class B. I can you need to what specify that. Oh, put the differences in a table for me, right? Or summarize the differences in what three bullet points, or summarize the differences in two paragraphs. You see, all these will help the AI to what know what you want, right? So if you're prompting, you need to what specify the format that you want, whether you want it as a list, a code, a table, a file, a code snippet, a PDF, whether you want it's like slides or something. You need to specify, right? That way the AI will know like which route to go, right? So that it won't waste your time and you won't waste tokens, right? Like that. So that's it. And every day you've been using ChatGPT to write like informally or casually, but not formal, right? Also, it will, right? But then if you specify that, oh, it should be formal, yes, it will write it better for you. So all this come into play when you're doing correct prompt engineering, right? So this is the structure that you follow, right? I've been using, let's say, or let's say I've learned something, I've learned a topic. Let me use photosynthesis now. I've learned everything about it, and then I want you to create what a summary. Oh, create in what 5 bullet points, everything you just said. It will summarize everything beautifully for you. Then you just read through, and then you get it better, right? Because sometimes when you read a lot, it's a lot of information, then it gets crammed up in your head. But then when you see bullet points or something, it gets easier. That's why most times we present with what bullet points, or when you're doing presentation, use bullet points. You see, there are summary, so you just need to read one thing and then it brings out like everything into your head. I hope you understand. Yes. So these are all types of formats that we use for ChatGPT or any other LLM. Yeah, you can say let's say I'm writing a code, right? I'm writing a code and I want to return something in the list. You need to specify it. You need to specify it. Or I want let's say um I want an array of let's take this programming example. Let's say I want a program, right? That's when I feed it numbers, it will sort out, let's say, the ages that are greater than 30, right? So a program that will sort out age greater than 30, where I'll input a list inside, it will sort out the ages greater than 30. I need to specify, like if I'm about to prompt ChatGPT, I need to specify something like the language or the programming language in which it should write it in. If I just say create a function that will sort out the number of ages that are greater than 30 years or something. You can write it in Python for me. You can even write a pseudocode in English for me, and it's still correct. But then it's not to my specifications, right? So I need to specify that write it in Python. Then need to write it in Python. Write it in JavaScript object notation, which is JSON. It will write it in JSON for me. Write it in C++, write it in. I hope you get me. Yes. So that's you need to specify the format that you want it. It just makes everything better for you, right? So that's it for prompting structure. It is very important. It's very, very important. And the tone, you can tell ChatGPT to what explain I'm doing functions used in Python, right? Python language. You see, so I'm specifying the language, right? Which is the format. Explain functions as used in Python, as if you're explaining to a beginner, right? So I've also specified the tone. That prompt is so much better than explain functions, right? Explain functions is broad. It can even explain function like as a word from the dictionary, right? Because I didn't specify. But if I say explain function from what Python, it has been specified to what go to its um, Python data set or Python data sheet, and it will take out like the important information for me. Then it will give me the best response. So yeah, that's how important prompting structure is, right? You need to what, specify the format. Sorry, whether ChatGPT should bring examples, all those things. Like you need to specify them. Specifying them helps so that it will give you the best. It will give you the best. Yes. So these are pros and three. Yeah. So it's that's what I want you to know. Role prompting is just we just tell the AI model to assume a role, right? And what this does is it's influences its style and depth in a sense that if you take a look at how AI models working, like they've been trained on large data sets. You see, that's why specification is important. They've been trained on large data sets. So if you specify what you are looking for, right, it narrows down its search, right? It narrows down its search. And number two, it won't be also it won't also give you a vague answer. It will give you what an answer tailored to what you are asking, right? So let's say look at the example I gave. You are a teacher, so it will assume the role of a teacher. Explain gravity to what a 10-year-old. So it will come from what the basis of a teacher. Let's say how the teacher will explain, and then look at I've also specified a format or a tone here. I've specified what a tone here that it should explain to what a 10-year-old. So advanced term like I can't get in advanced term related to gravity of my head, but I hope you get me. It won't give me any advanced term that will confuse me or something. No, it's explaining as if it's explaining to what a 10-year-old. So it will tailor the explanation what to a 10-year-old's like mindset or something. And, and because you are missing explain gravity, it will explain gravity as, let's say, what happens when I drop a brick or a block or cement or something. You see, it will tailor it to what the role that I have specified. You see, it will influence its style of explaining it. Yes. So that's it for role prompting to bring chicken. Explain your answer. Let's see, for as a chef, let's say chicken, it will take, let's say, 2 hours, and the reason is that the longer it takes, the more, let's say, the seasoning gets into the chicken or something. You see, it will give you some or I can say as a doctor, how long should it take to marinate chicken? Then it will the answer to what nutrition and or what the health benefits of what marinating chicken for a long time or something. I hope you get me. As a pro chef, it will tailor it to how sweet or how bitter or how nice or how good it will smell, the food will smell. You see, it will tailor it to food. It will tailor it to like what a chef does. But then if I put as a doctor there, it will also change its style of explaining, even though it's the same question, right? It will change its what style of explaining. So that's how role prompting also plays a role in prompt engineering. If we, right, you need to tell ChatGPT or other AI models like what exactly you want, right? You need to what use good sorry, you need to use good role assumption, right? Maybe as a doctor, as a teacher, anything. You need to also specify what the tone, right, or the format that you want it. Whether you want to explain 3 paragraphs, um, explaining write 3 paragraphs explaining why I should be drafted for the World War III. You see, all these are what good prompting techniques. So you need to be what specific and what concise. You need to also be very clear. You don't need to be ambiguous, because most times ChatGPT doesn't know what is in your head, right? I mean, it doesn't know what is in your head. So you need to what type and be specific and be clear about it and give what clear instruction and include as possible. Yeah, sometimes it's not possible. That's the zero shot prompting. It's not possible to give an example, so you just leave it. But then when it's possible, you give like the math examples I was using. We give examples so that it will tailor its response to your need. Yes, and don't be vague, right? Don't be vague. You need to be clear and concise. So that's about it for prompt engineering. I hope it's clear. Please can let me know.
Good evening. Well, I know I can't buy meeting.